talk to Ron about?
Yes,
Okay,
and
yeah.
he's agreed, but we need a motion.
Okay.
I guess you have.
We need a motion to designate Ron as voting delegate. Or did you make a motion?
I'll make a motion to have Ryan be the voting delegate at the KAC.
I second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay. Guess we don't have much else right now to start with, do we?
I want to ask if I can have a Saturday voting for the general election. What I'd do would be open here in the office from 9 to 1 or 2 I think, on Saturday, November 1st. Is that okay with you guys?
Do fine.
Okay. Anything else right now? Or recess? I thought this the other day was just sentencing.
Yeah, this, we're arguing about the restitution.
So this just, postpone for this and the sentencing part. All right.
It's been really
Yeah, I haven't forgot about it, just it's, you keep, trying to get the other side to move. I mean, it's,
Well, didn't the attorney, one got sick, one of them died or something, wasn't it?
the father died, and the son has picked up one lesson from daddy, which is continue, 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 continue. Have a one-trick pony.
I just couldn't figure out how they could just keep, this has been almost 2 years.
Again, you have judges who seem to have special rules for special attorneys. I mean, I couldn't stall out something like that.
Okay.
Well, I think it's ridiculous. And I think he would want to get it over with.
All I know is, I keep pushing, and I'm very methodical. I'm one of these, linear type thinkers, A to B to C, I try not to cut corners. Okay, we're gonna have all these expert witnesses here, expert in the sense that they've traveled more than 50 miles to testify at county expense. I said, no, let's just settle on one, I'm fairly flexible, Because, scrap metal dealers, 15 of them got 15 different values.
They're not going to be live.
And good news, bad news. You'll love this. I actually put a little letter and shoved it under Jeff Parr's door this morning. Good news, bad news. Good news, we caught some potential burglars and thieves in Ellsworth County. Bad news, they're from Radium, Kansas. Just moved there.
Oh, boy.
All recently out of prison.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Here's something else I learned just to confuse the heck out of poor unfortunate people like me who didn't grow up here. If you live in Radium, Kansas, your postal address is Pawnee Rock.
Yeah.
Well, if it's up north, now Radium City is Larned. It's kind of confusing up in there.
Well, when I say Radium, I'm talking about the area.
Right, yeah,
as
you go
opposed to,
clear up north, it is Pine Rock, yeah.
I'm sure these people are living in something that we would ordinarily regard as abandoned.
Well, there's some up around there. There's a couple that's been about half burned out.
Yeah, I've often said one thing you can do to decrease rural crime is to equip your sheriff with about 24 cans of kerosene and a book of matches. I mean, I kid you not. The southeast corner of Ellsworth County is fascinating. This was probably the part of the county that was settled first in like 1860 something, and you had 160-acre farmstead here, one there, and they all had little houses. And apparently, you were able to live there until World War II-ish, when it seemed to all go to hell. So you got a bunch of old houses which are largely hidden by trees, but when the leaves drop, you're just amazed how many houses there are, and every now and then you'll see one that's occupied. Usually for the purpose of cooking methamphetamine. This is the area around Langley. I mean, it's different down there.
There's one that's just inside of Stafford County, just off of the Arabian Road. That burned twice, I think. They're just straight west of Davis. One of the,
Well, a lot of the old ones they pushed down too because of the tax purposes, don't they?
that's what ought to happen. I think Joe's got the right idea, a can of kerosene, some matches.
Because what you have is you have a lot of abandoned residences which are, I mean, the people farming the land are big operators who have a long-term lease. I mean, I jokingly say there's like maybe 12 or 15 farmers in the entire county of Ellsworth. I mean, it's called the rich get richer, the poor get poor. Of course, you gotta remember your ground up there is nowhere near as nice as the ground here for farming. You got lots of, lack of a better term, scrub pasture in the hills. But the actual farming, you got the Lobbles, you've got, Richard Johnson, you got about, you know, I know them all, and they all have like 10,000, 12,000 acres of farming, and they do it by putting all their money in equipment and, you know, locking up, you know, land in long-term written leases. None of this, you know, handshake nonsense, I mean. And, in other words, this farming is a big business, there's no two ways around it. Where you got budgets, you know, for the next 5, 10 years. Cash flow plans and all this stuff. But the upshot is all these little houses out there have by and large become extraneous. And I always try to tell people, be suspicious of somebody who wants to rent the old farmstead, because usually they're to no good.
Yeah.
Hint, when they, you know, remember in the gas stations, when they used to have, you know, actual attendants, you'd drive into the gas station, you'd go over those rubber hoses that went ka-chink, ka-chink. When you see those on driveways, these little houses in the middle of nowhere, you know something's afoot.
Well, they got some, those out there?
Well, I've come across a couple of those.
Really?
The driveway up by Hudson had those.
Then there's some of them's got cans or whatever, you know, that rattle when
And then again, I get to play Russell County attorney for 2 weeks this month. That's always the truth. Oh.
Get to be a sub, huh?
Oh, Russell County is unique. It has more millionaires than your typical Western Kansas county, but it has more poor people.
you are either a millionaire or you can't buy groceries. That's what I've been told.
It's just way different. I mean, you know, you go to St. John, Kansas, it's pretty much a middle-class type community. You don't, there's a couple nice houses on Centennial, but it's not really ostentatious. Nobody's building a castle in Fossil Lake. But Russell County, I mean, it's just, and every time I see Russell, at one time, he used to support about 10 attorneys. Now, you got maybe 2 or 3 working attorneys there, and you got a couple millionaires who play being attorney.
A lot of oil up there too over the years.
Oh, yeah, but
Oh, yeah, that's where the wealth came from.
it's just amazing. I mean, like, for example, my friend Jerry Driscoll, I mean, Jerry, I think, is an attorney just because he's bored. I mean, the Driscolls have money, I mean,
Something to do, huh?
yeah. And halfway through a case, it was, Joe, I don't know why I'm on this case. Yeah, Jerry, why are you on this case? It's February here in central Kansas. I'd be on a beach somewhere if I had your money. And I'm the guy who's bleeding, you know, for having kids in college. I mean,
Okay. Anything else?
you know, I just like to say, wanted to come down here and push some paper across the counter. I thought I'd check in with you folks, let you know what's going on with our favorite case. Believe me, I'll keep after it, but I think one reason Mr. Holland needs a continuance, he has to supervise more labor on his castle on Fossil Lake. Have you been up on I-70 by Russell? Okay. As you're coming into Russell from the east, and you look south over that lake is, you'll see literally you'll see a castle going up, you know, where the walls are crenellated in here real quick. Fancy architectural term, but just like a medieval castle. I mean, this is what the stupid thing looks like. And it's so grandiose that people are slowing down on the interstate up there, and pretty soon you have a bad wreck in one of those trucks, you know, with the driver's on, you know, autopilot.
Look at the castle.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's, so, but, things are going pretty smooth here. The big thing I've done lately for counties, and here's where I have to give a shout out to Lisa Milton. On your bank deposits here, you're 100% covered, you know, collateralized, secured. A lot of counties aren't. The way banks started to act weird, I decided to check, and we had to get real nasty at Ellsworth County and go around to, you know, there's like 5 or 6 banks we have deposits in. A couple of them we had to say, look, you either get it 100% covered like tomorrow, or we're pulling money out. Sorry, nothing personal, but we got no idea what's going on. See, we have these weird cash infusions, you know, typically you have the most money in the coffers in December, after December 20th, when people start paying their ad valorem taxes, you know. And very often a county this size can, you know, have, $6-7 million, you know, that's not
Well, they used
collateralized,
to have-
so-called peak period.
It used to peak deposit period, you used to have a 60-day grace period
Yeah.
in there, because you'd have so much money go in and go back out so fast.
Yeah, and of course, we had, what, 25 years of economic stability. I mean, now, I don't think it's a good idea to have a peak period where you're not covered. I've been talking about this with Lisa, and she's all on board, and she seems to like to have 100% coverage at all times. For example, if you look at the financial statement for Ellsworth County last year, 12/31/07, there was $5.3 million, $5.3 million, which was not collateralized. Of course, you know, nobody was giving thought to bank failures back then, but, you know, today, you know, who knows what's going on? I've yet to fathom.
Well, I think the thing is, you're confusing banks, what they call banks back on Wall Street. They're not banks, they're an investment house, and they're not regulated by the OCC, and then you get the regulations the others do. And they're set up a little different. They have no regulations.
But basically, a good quick way to get collateralized, there's two ways. One is something called Kansas Bankers Surety, which of all things is a Warren Buffett company I discovered. I mean, that old vulture up there in Omaha is going to own this country before it's all over.
I don't think they're in business anymore.
You know, Kansas Bankers Surety? Because that came into being after Columbian failed in Topeka. You know, Buffett, of course, had a hand in that. And of course, the other way you collateralize is you buy treasury paper. But it's going to be interesting to see what transpires in the next couple of weeks. Bush gave a speech today. I listened to it on public radio on the way down here, and I'm saying, you know, there's kind of a bad cause and effect every time he gives a speech.
Yeah. Yesterday, Mark was about 1,000 points close to the 900.
Well, yesterday was strange because none of the credit markets were open. FDIC was closed. I mean, it was.
Well, in the first place, they ought to take that one got up to $60 million bonus, or take that and gets 5 houses away from it and sticking it back in that company.
Well, I'm not sure you're gonna teach these old dogs new tricks. Look how AIG, after they get the bailout, they go and squander, what is it,
$320,000
on a corporate retreat, when you have to know the public's looking over your shoulder. I mean,
That's.
I can't see it putting money into, bailing it out. The bank's got FDIC, and it's all funded by the banks. They pay the premiums for that, and then AIG, we pay the premiums on that.
well, I think what you might see, believe it or not, is you might see FDIC saying, look, for certain banks with the following capitalization, we're going to guarantee all deposits. Already, they went up to 250,000. Already, FDIC has an exception for small businesses where you have under $1 million on deposit, but it's not an interest-bearing deposit, i.e., it's your payroll checking account, or basically your moving the money in and out, but FDIC is gonna guarantee up to $1 million on that. That's an executive order signed by Ms. Bear or whatever. So, again, it's, you guys are in pretty good shape here, but some other counties, I talked to my friends in Russell County about, where's your money at? You know, where are you exposed at? Because the thing is, I don't think you'll lose it, but it can get tied up. When Wachovia went, they had some local governments in New England have their funds tied up. Not lost, but they're just not available at present. Because you've got, was it Wells Fargo, and what's the other one? Fighting over the bones of Wachovia.
Chase, ain't
Pretty soon we ought to know all the banks, but if we keep losing, we're gonna be down to like a handful.
it?
Well, real quick, that's the good news. is
All right.
You don't have money hanging out there that's not collateralized.
Joe, have you met Kevin, our new
Oh.
EMS director?
Oh, hi, Kevin.
This is Joe Sheepak, our county attorney.
Last time I looked, it was,
Okay.
TJ was acting.
Yeah, but
Okay.
Kevin's
October 1st is
now,
my official first name.
right,
Okay, well.
I didn't think you two had met yet.
No.
Careful.
You're a successful EMS director if you're seen but not heard. I'll just leave it at that.
Words to live by.
Well, they're here for me, but hopefully it's all good. It's not. I'm trying to get more money. That's good.
All right, well, have at 'em, but like I said, no news is good news.
That's true. That's true.
If I don't see you again, great.
Sounds good.
All right.
This is the just another grant trying to get for emergency management for the NIMS issue. It's reimbursement basically for any type of NIMS exercise, emergency management exercise. We get reimbursed for our personnel and equipment, etc. It has to be in by what's today? 14th.
There's a dollar amount off that, just,
It's basically what it is you, depending on the program, I know one is an $1,000 reimbursement. Here's the whole,
It's like
well, yeah, it's supposed to be in actually the,
October 3rd.
that one, this one says the 17th. The cooperation agreement by the 17th. So I'm gonna call them, there's also extensions on here, so, under the circumstances. They actually sent two, different name, one was Bolt, one was Belt, so I think that's why they sent two.
okay. I feel you make a motion to approve applying for this grant.
I'm applying for these grants. Kevin's got.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Yeah, I guess I saw it down here.
This is actually basically the, I'll give you a copy of this, the exercise program for the emergency management NIMS.
Yeah, I'll be there, what's,
Pretty extensive.
okay.
That's all I have right now.
How's things going, Kevin?
Good. Really well. Just bouncing back and forth. Trying to get everything in order, so to speak.
That wasn't a small order, was it?
No, it's still in work in progress. Trying to figure out what we have completed, what we don't have completed for grants, for FEMA, for NIMS. There's a conference call this evening and tomorrow for the county for emergency management. So we're on that conference call. And that's the big issue right now is trying to figure out what we've completed, what we don't. And trying to get everything in line. I talked to Doris, and Doris just said, consider nothing completed, so.
And none of us up here have had any ministry. None of us supposed to.
And that's the other, as soon as I get more information on the EOC set up, whether we wanted to put the EOC in the annex with the new police station issue, or get a grant for another EOC building. It has to be completely secure. there are grants, building grants out there for EOC facilities, so I'll go from there and try to get some grants for procuring other items.
Well, they're out there, and somebody gets them, so.
There's a ton of them out there. It's just making sure everything is, all your ducks in a row.
Right.
And right now, I don't know what ducks we have on the pond and what are on the water. Or, you know,
On the way down there.
on the way, yes, so. We'll work on this one for now.
Okay,
Okay,
thanks a lot.
Thanks, Kevin.
Anything else right now?
Happy.
We'll reset. Back to station. Anything else?
I have nothing.
I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
I so moved.
We adjourn.